Recently, in March 2025, Apple has launched an impressive iPad Air. However, it has 384 different configurations and the price ranges all the way from $599 to $1,900. This decision can be overwhelming given the vast prices, which are 3 times higher, and 384 different configurations to decide on which configuration you should go for. Who recently went through this process of narrowing down 384 different choices to one customized to her needs. In just 6 decisions, which we'll go through in a logical way, you can decide which is the best choice for you. We are here to make your decision easier. In short, iPad Air, the basic model of $599, is super powerful. It is 2 times faster than M1, which is regarded as a great benchmark chip. It has 8 core CPU and 9 core GPU, and then it has 16 core neural engine. The good news is across all these 384 different configurations that you need to make, from a technical aspect, from memory, how fast is it, and the processor use, it's across all of them. Let's go through on these 384 different configurations. It's made up of 6 decisions that you need to make. And guess what? The way we're going to explain in this video is going to be consistent when you go and order on the Apple website. It consists of 64 different configurations on the real model that you order, which means every Apple store is carrying 64 different models. This 64 multiplied by 6 different configurations of accessories. Now, for this section, we'll simplify everything for your decision making into 6 different aspects. Number 1, the screen size. The 2 different options, 11-inch model and 13-inch model. 13-inch is much larger by about 44% larger screen size. However, there's a trade-off to play in that. You have to balance between 11-inch screen, which is very comfortable to hold anywhere, versus a much larger 13-inch screen, but you can question how easy it is to handle. Let me just ask Priya as to how she thought about it and why did she go for 11 versus 13.
So to be honest, after discussing with you, I actually visited an Apple store and had a look at both the models in front of my eyes. And 13-inch seemed more bulky
Yeah.
and not easy to handle on a day-to-day basis. Where
Okay.
it was more like a laptop I would have either taken.
Yep.
So I prefer to go for a smaller version, that is the 11-inch.
Next is the color. There are 4 different choices that you have to choose from. 1, space gray, 2, starlight, 3, purple, and 4th, blue.
So I bought the beautiful purple color in this one. So basically I'm a corporate professional and I don't go for such vivid colors. I usually go for the black and stuff. But and I was actually confused between starlight and purple, to be
Okay.
honest. But if you look at this color, I don't know how it would come in the video. This is not very purple. It is not very bold. It is a very subtle purple.
There are 4 different storage options and the price rise is similarly exponential. The base model 128 GB comes within the base model of $599. Second, to upgrade to 256, it'll cost you an extra $100. Now from here on, there is a 512 model and a 1 terabyte model, which goes up all the way from $300 to $500 extra. And then you also have iCloud Drive, where you can get a package to save, to store everything that you want, from subscription charges of a couple of dollars for the first 200 GB a month to all the way up to 6 terabyte.
I decided to go for the 256 GB because I felt that 512 and above, it is not worth the money, paying $300 or $500 extra. But then I thought 128 GB would be on the lower side, at least from my perspective. And I like to have things on my device and
Yeah.
across devices, so I preferred to go for the 256 GB.
I personally think that 128 is a very good option. 256 is perhaps okay to consider since the price goes up by $100. 512 and 1 terabyte, you need to really consider whether it gives you the right value for money. Fourth, the connectivity. The base model comes with Wi-Fi, that too Wi-Fi 6E, which is very good. Now, if you also want a cellular to it, you have to pay $150 more. Now, it should sound right, that $150 more for data everywhere is a great thing. iPhone as a Wi-Fi hotspot, and that really doesn't cost anything extra. You can use the same data that you use on your iPhone, and you're still mobile everywhere you go. From my perspective, I would say, well, this is something that you should really consider. If you do not have an iPhone, then maybe it's a good choice to go for.
So I went for the Wi-Fi model because I felt that the cellular version is not something that I would require for my personal uses. It is more for people who are mostly needing their iPad when they're using in low or no network areas, or mostly while traveling and stuff. But I can always use my mobile hotspot, so that works well for me.
Those were the 64 options that you needed to go for the base model, and these are critical in deciding which device you go for. Now, coming to accessories, Apple Pencil is absolutely amazing. I've been a big fan of it. So that the three different options, not to take Apple Pencil at all at this stage. 2, go for the normal Apple Pencil, and 3, go for Apple Pencil Pro. If you look at the pricing here, you get a lot more with Apple Pencil Pro. Strongly suggest just go, if you're going for Apple Pencil, go for Apple Pencil Pro.
Well, I went for the latest Apple Pencil Pro, as you can see. And my major reason for selecting this one was it has a lot of new features like the squeeze feature, the roller feature, the double tap feature to switch between the eraser and the previous tool. And my purpose is mostly creating artwork or journals, gratitudes, etc. And this is the best I could go for. And also, this one you can charge in your you don't have to plug it separately. You can just there's a magnetic charging with your iPad Air.
It has squeeze, it has barrel roll, it has double tap, and it has haptic feedback. The last decision, whether you should go for the Magic Keyboard. Well, it's a good device overall. It serves you in two different purposes. It's a great keyboard, of course. It has a good trackpad for sure. And additionally, it's a cover for your screen as well. But the question is, it is priced at $269 and perhaps even more for the 13-inch model. I really think it is overpriced, and I don't recommend anyone going for it. You can get external keyboards for much less than $50. We have a clear framework in front of you. How do you make your decisions across these 6 things? We have gone through the pros and cons of every decision that you make. Let's go through some typical options that you can use, and of course you will have your own customized need from 384 different configurations. Number 1 is the base model at $599, or let's say $600. This itself is very well configured. It has all the power that you have in the M3 chip, which is common across all. It has 11-inch screen. It will come with 128 GB. The answer to accessories as well is not required. If we were to upgrade our budget by, let's say, $100, then possibly one of the options is to go for a higher storage than 128 base model. And there I would say what makes sense is to go for 256 GB to extend your storage. Similarly, at that extra approximate $100, you can also get an Apple Pencil Pro for about $130, right? So these two options have to be weighed with each other, whether you want more storage or whether you want an Apple Pencil Pro, which probably from my side is a great thing. And my choice personally would be to go for Apple Pencil Pro. The next option is for about $800, you can go for storage of 256 GB and an Apple Pencil Pro. Next, let's move to option D1. With $200 more, you can get what you had in the previous option C to a 13-inch screen. The decision is yours. Do you like a bigger screen or do you want a more comfortable device to hold? Go and try it out at Apple Store and you will probably know what works for you better. Option D2 is in a similar range as option D1. Here, instead of going for a 13-inch, we keep to 11-inch space and go higher with cellular. We've discussed whether cellular is really required. Go by what we've already said. I would recommend this is a question mark, but if you are always working on the go and you do not have access to your iPhone all the time, and you need your convenience of having cellular data on your iPad, then certainly it's a good choice to make. If you upgrade your budget to even higher, 1200, I personally don't think this is required at all, but then you should probably upgrade to 512 GB. That, and from my perspective, is too high a cost. I would rather go for iCloud subscription. As you can see, just by $1,200, I'm reaching the limit of what I consider as a rational decision. I would say that you need to, the moment you start to hit your budget as more than 1,200, you got to rationalize it and think whether this is the right decision. 384 different configurations made your decisions simpler by focusing on really the top 4-5 different options that you really need to worry about. What will be your preference among all these 384 choices and 6 different dimensions of making your decision? It's important to get your feedback on which one you think you will go for. Please post it down in the comment. I'll leave a template for it right in the comments below, and get back to me or if you have any questions on making any of the choices. If you enjoyed this video and you got the framework that you wanted to make your difficult decision, please subscribe to Tech and Travel. Please let me know in the comment below, and it will benefit all of us who are reading these comments. Thank you. See you. This is Tech and Travel. Enjoy.